Hello, Namaskar and welcome to Express News with me Deepika, your window to quick and crisp 100 news updates from the country and the world. Let's begin. BJP Parliamentary Party meeting was held today in Parliament premises. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, BJP Chief JP Nadda, Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi and all MPs of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha were present in the meeting. After the meeting, Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Arjun Ram Meghwal said Prime Minister in the meeting called for making an action plan for the next 25 years. The Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs said Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged the MPs that on the occasion of 75 years of independence, they should reach out to the public of the country with a message of serving the nation. The Union Minister added that Prime Minister has asked to make the Amrit Mahotsav celebration of 75 years of India's independence a mass movement and asked the MPs to lead the program. Rajya Sabha witnessed repeated adjournments amid sloganeering by opposition MPs on the Pegasus project issue. Lok Sabha also witnessed similar scenes during the question hour. Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said that there were around 15 questions related to welfare of farmers to be taken up during the question hour, but due to ruckus created by the opposition, only few were addressed. The three-day-long Goa Legislative Assembly session will begin on Wednesday. Goa Mineral Development Corporation Bill 2021 would be introduced in the session. President Ramnath Kovind attended the 19th annual convocation of University of Kashmir at Sher-e-Kashmir International Conference Centre, Srinagar. President of India Ramnath Kovind urged upon the younger generation of Kashmir to learn from their rich legacy. He said that they have every reason to know that Kashmir has always been a beacon of hope for the rest of India. Its spiritual and cultural influence has its imprint all across the country. The President noted that some of the features of the new education policy have already been initiated at the University of Kashmir. Besides constituting a committee to devise a roadmap for the timely implementation of the policy, several academic courses have been realigned to meet the objectives of the policy. Uttar Pradesh police has busted a trafficking racket with the arrest of 3 persons in connection with illegal infiltration of Rohingyas and Bangladeshi nationals. The death toll in Maharashtra has risen to 192 while 25 people are still reported to be missing in the flood-affected areas of Ratnagiri, Satara, Thane, Sindhudurg, Kolhapur and Pune. 3,75,178 people have been evacuated from 1,028 villages affected. IMD has issued orange alert for RAIGAD, Satara districts beside others for 29th and 30th July. It has issued also green alert for many other places, which means situation is getting under control. Delhi NCR region received a heavy rainfall on Tuesday, leading to waterlogging in many parts of the national capital. Traffic movement was affected at various places with auto rickshaws, cars and other vehicles partially submerged amid heavily waterlogged roads. Himachal Pradesh has been experiencing intermittent light to moderate rains for the last few days. As per the Indian Meteorological Department's forecast, the state will receive very heavy rainfall at isolated places till 30th July. A red alert has also been issued for Bilaspur, Kangra, Sirmaur and Mandi districts. The Weather Department has also issued an advisory regarding possibility of landslides at many places in the state. Puri in Odisha became the first city in the country to implement the Drink from Tap project. Puri is now placed in the big league of global cities like London, New York, Singapore in providing portable water directly from the tap. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh is on a 2-day Tajikistan visit. He will attend the annual meeting of the defence ministers of SCO member states. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu extended his greetings to CRPF on its 83rd Raising Day today. In a tweet, the Vice President said CRPF has always been at the forefront in maintaining public order, internal security and countering militancy. He added that the nation is grateful for the selfless service of CRPF. Prime Minister Narendra Modi greeted CRPF personnel on the Raising Day. In his tweet, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "Greetings to all courageous CRPF India personnel and their families on the force's Raising Day. The CRPF is known for its valor and professionalism. It has a key role in India's security apparatus. Their contributions to further national unity are appreciable," unquote. Raj Kundra has been sent to judicial custody for 14 days. Kundra was arrested last week in connection with a porn racket and is currently in police custody. The Joint Entrance Examination Advanced 2021 for admission in IITs will be held on 3rd of October this year. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said that the exam will be conducted adhering to all COVID-19 related protocols. Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani today launched a 24/7 helpline number for women affected by violence. The helpline number is 782-717-0170. India reports less than 30,000 daily new cases after 132 days, 29,689 new cases in last 24 hours. 3,621,469 total recoveries across the country so far. 42,363 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. Recovery rate currently stands at 97.39%. India's active caseload less than 4 lakh after 124 days, currently at 3,98,100. Weekly positivity rate remains below 5%, currently at 2.33%. Total 45.91 crore samples tested for COVID-19 so far. 44.19 crore vaccine doses have been administered across the country till date. 44.19 crore vaccine doses administered so far under nationwide vaccination drive. The Union government has reduced the import duty on masoor dal to 0. It has also cut the agriculture infrastructure development cess on the lentil or masoor to 10% from 20%. The reduction of import duty will boost domestic supply and check its price rise. A notification in this regard was tabled in both the Houses of Parliament by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. The reduced customs duty and cess will come into effect from today. The initial public offering of Glenmark Life Sciences has been subscribed 1.99 times on Tuesday, the first day of bidding. The offer has received bids for 2.98 crore equity shares against the IPO size of 1.5 crore equity shares. The subscription data available on exchanges showed. Sensex stumbled by 273.51 to end at 52,578.76 on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Nifty declined by 78 points to close at 15,746.45 today. Rupee slipped by 5 paise to close at 74.47 against US dollar today. Gold prices registered a hike today to reach at 47,513 today. Silver prices fell by 0.08% to reach at 67,066 rupees. Crude oil prices rose to 5,376 rupees per barrel. Despite being heavily affected by the pandemic, the import-export value of goods transported via the Lao Cai International Border Gate in Vietnam in the past 7 months has reached $241 million. More than 19 crore 53 lakh people have worldwide so far tested positive for COVID-19, while over 17 crore 70 lakh patients have recovered from the virus. More than 41.82 lakh people have lost their lives to the pandemic so far globally. The United States continues to be the worst affected country by COVID-19. Over 3.52 crore coronavirus cases are in the US, while over 6.26 lakh people have passed away in the country. President Joe Biden to launch U.S. government initiative to prohibit discrimination against people disabled by long-term symptoms of COVID-19. This will bring U.S. agencies together to ensure people suffering from severe long-term health problems even after the end of their infections with the novel coronavirus. To ensure that the spread is not severe, health experts in the country have been discussing mitigation strategies such as updated guidance on wearing masks. White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki on Monday said latest numbers indicate that people are understanding the urgency and importance of getting vaccinated, and rightfully. Meanwhile, United States will not lift any existing travel restrictions at this moment due to concerns over Delta variant of COVID-19 and the rising number of coronavirus cases. Also, Spain is seeing continuous rise in new COVID-19 cases with incidence rate at 700 infections for 100,000 people, highest in the country since 5th of February this year. Total cases are over 4.3 million, while over 81,200 people have lost their lives due to COVID-19. Meanwhile, people in Spain's biggest island, Tenerife, are required to present their COVID-19 certificates, including vaccine passport, negative test or proof at the restaurants and gyms to enter. The passport will not be required for those who opt to sit outdoors. Israel is considering administering a third shot of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine to its elderly population even before FDA's approval in order to help fend off the Delta variant of coronavirus. Pfizer is seeking US emergency authorization for a third of its vaccine dose. Cuba has on Monday received a shipment of coronavirus-related humanitarian assistance from Russia. 2 military planes carrying 88 tons of aid departed from an airfield near Moscow. Cuba reported the highest rate of contagion per capita in Latin America. The military government of Myanmar has cancelled the results of the November 2020 general elections in the country, which gave the National League for Democracy, led by the then State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi, an absolute majority. The military government, in an announcement on Monday, said that the election results are cancelled as they are not free and fair. US President Joe Biden and Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi sealed an agreement formally ending the US combat mission in Iraq by the end of 2021. The decision was taken after the US President held talks with Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi at the White House. Addressing media, Biden said the U.S. combat forces will leave Iraq by the end of this year, though troops will continue to train and advise the Iraqi military. Iraqi PM said he is looking forward to work with the U.S. for the benefit of Iraq. Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi, in response to the White House statement, has said that Iraq's relation is stronger than ever. The partnership is set for economy, the environment, health, education, culture and more. Dismissed Tunisian Prime Minister Hichem Mahishi on Monday, and right now we are moving live. And these are the live visuals where US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is arriving. He's just arrived. And my colleague Amrit Pal is joining us with more details. Amrit, a very good evening to you. So US State Secretary Antony J. Blinken has just arrived. Please update us with more details. Amrit Pal.
That's right, Deepika. The US Secretary of State has just landed in India. He's on a 2-day visit to India. Tomorrow is the main day of the visit when he'll be calling on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and also holding bilateral talks with his counterpart, Dr. S. Jaishankar, at the Hyderabad House. And later in the evening, both the foreign ministers are expected to give the press statements on what transpired in the meeting. We also hear that he's meeting with the National Security Advisor, Ajit Doval. Now, this is his first visit, Secretary Blinken's first visit to India after assuming office. That's why it's very, very important. And also the timing of the visit, it comes at the time when the security situation in Afghanistan is assuming worrisome proportions as Taliban gains ground. On your screens right now, we can see the United States Air Force's plane, which is carrying the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, and his delegation. And we can expect Secretary Blinken to step out of that plane any moment. Now, this visit will essentially give an opportunity to consolidate the bilateral cooperation across a range of issues between India and the United States. Tomorrow on the table, issues like augmenting trade and investment, tapping opportunities in healthcare, education, digital domain, innovation and security would be important elements of the conversation. I think if we look at his meeting, the slated meeting tomorrow with External Affairs Minister, it would have three dimensions. One, the global dimension, in which reform of global institutions like the United States and other United Nations, and the other Bretton Woods institutions would be up for discussion. India assumes presidency of the United Nations Security Council from August this year. So they'll be talking about cooperation in that. They'll be talking about cooperation in terms of COVID, in terms of vaccines and the supply chains of vaccines, the raw materials for that and other health equipment, and also resumption of international travel. Also, the two sides would be talking about the post-pandemic recovery, global recovery, and what India and how India and the United States could cooperate in that area. The other part would be the regional part, in which I've touched upon, that Afghanistan would be a point of key concern, where India would raise its concern. The Indian leadership, our foreign minister or external affairs minister, has raised this at different fora, including in Tashkent and Dushanbe. Also, when he did a stopover on his way to Moscow in Tehran, he brought it up with the Iranian leadership and also with Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister. And I think with the American foreign minister, India would be bringing up that how it sees the security situation in Afghanistan post the announcement of complete withdrawal by U.S. forces by the 31st of August. India would also, in my view, ask the Americans to step up the pressure on Pakistan to crack down on terror financing and terror havens which exist in Pakistan, because the Afghan Taliban gets direct oxygen from the Quetta Shura in Balochistan in Pakistan. The Afghans in the past, in the near past, have accused Pakistan of using its air force to provide air cover to the Taliban forces which are fighting with the Afghan national forces in Afghanistan. So India would be sharing its concerns. India has been pressing for a regional response and would be talking to the Americans that how the gain by Taliban does not signal or augur very well, one, for an inclusive Afghan society, but also for the region's stability. Also, in terms of bilateral issues, which I've talked, from trade to investment to education to resumption of international travel, especially its effect on humanitarian issues like humanitarian travel or mobility of students, etc., which has been affected, now needs to be restored and resumed gradually with all health protocols in place as India progressively arrests the infection situation in the country. Defense cooperation, Deepika, would be another area that the two sides would explore ways to deepen their collaboration. This would cover policy exchanges, military exercises, and defense transfers and technologies. The two sides would be looking at laying the groundwork for the 2+2 ministerial dialogue between India and the United States, the fourth 2+2 dialogue, which is slated in the United States later this year. So I think these areas, climate change, yes, that would be another focus of the talks between the two sides. You can see on your television screens right now at the technical airport in Delhi. This is Secretary Antony Blinken walking down the steps of his aircraft. We can see the Indian ambassador to the United States, Taranjit Singh Sandhu, there receiving the American Secretary of State, who is essentially the foreign minister, who is on his first two-day visit, Deepika, to India after assuming charge as the Secretary of State of the Biden administration. Right now, he is being received at the airport. These are live visuals that we are beaming to you from the Delhi airport. And from here on, he proceeds. And tomorrow would be the main day of the meetings, in which I've already said that he'll be calling on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, National Security Advisor, and holding a bilateral meeting with his Indian counterpart, Dr. S. Jaishankar, which will be held at the Hyderabad House in New Delhi. On which, yes,
Amritpal, how are they going to touch upon the shared democratic values, and that too amid the ongoing Pegasus issue?
Absolutely. There are concerns raised in the United States and some statements made about, humanitarian issues and issues of human rights and democracy, etc. If the Americans do choose to bring it up, India would be talking about sharing its experiences as a long-standing pluralistic society. India is open to engaging with the world on the value of diversity and its perspective on human rights and democracy and how they extend beyond a particular nation's range. India, of course, is proud of its achievement in both domains and would be glad to share its experiences with the United States leadership if it so chooses to raise it tomorrow at the meeting between Dr. Jaishankar and Secretary Blinken.
And the border issue with China will also be touched upon?
It may not be specifically touched upon, but yes, China would come into the discussions, because we could see discussions happening on deepening of the Quad engagement, because that will be a key focus of talks, with the possibility of a foreign ministerial Quad meeting later this year, and how to take the Quad vaccine initiative further. Also, the Indo-Pacific.
Thank you.
The two sides will exchange their assessments about Indo-Pacific on COVID assistance, economic slowdown, security scenario, development.
Thank you so much, Amritpal, for joining us and giving us all the details on Antony Blinken's arrival here in Delhi. So moving ahead, Indonesian President K. Said meanwhile said that his decisions were an implementation of the text of the constitution and not a coup attempt as described by his political rivals. In a video posted by the presidency, Said added that his decisions came in line with Article number 80 in the constitution. In another development, Indonesian President ordered a curfew on Monday to prohibit the movement of people and vehicles from 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. starting Monday until August 27th, with the exception of urgent health cases and night workers. Lebanon on Monday appointed Prime Minister designate Najib Mikati, a billionaire businessman, as the Prime Minister. Mikati received 72 votes out of a total of 118 members of Parliament on Monday to be designated the next Prime Minister. He appealed for unity in the country to begin recovery from the pandemic. Social activist, journalist and former diplomat Mary Simon has sworn in as Canada's 30th Governor-General on Monday, making her the first person of indigenous heritage to hold the post. She was appointed to the position of by Queen Elizabeth. Thousands of Cuban Americans descended on the White House on Monday to call on President Joe Biden to do more for Cuba, saying the sanctions he imposed last week are not enough after the communist government's recent crackdown on protesters. Similar protests were seen in Argentina and Mexico. Dozens of Argentine and Mexican demonstrators gathered outside the Cuban embassies in Buenos Aires and Mexico City respectively on Monday to voice support for Cuba's socialist government. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has said US President Joe Biden must make a decision about the embargo against Cuba amid the biggest unrest in the Caribbean nation in decades. Also, Mexico on Monday sent food and medical supplies, including syringes, oxygen tanks and masks to Cuba via cargo ships. The first person to be tried under Hong Kong's sweeping national security law was found guilty of secessionism and terrorism today in a ruling condemned by human rights activists. A heavy sandstorm with dust clouds towering at least 330 feet high caused chaos in the ancient Silk Road city of Dunhuang in northwestern China. Dunhuang is home to the Mogao Grottoes and is located in the Gobi Desert and is known for its harsh climate and living conditions. Russian space veteran Oleg Novitsky filmed undocking of the Purs space module from the International Space Station on Monday. With music, dance and rituals, a traditional Aztec ceremony was held in Mexico City on Monday to mark the 696th anniversary of the founding of the lost city of Tenochtitlan. More than 1,900 turtles, reptiles and amphibians were released into lagoons and forests in Colombia's Mita province over the weekend after being seized and rehabilitated by authorities fighting wildfire trafficking. Most of the animals released in the Colombia's Mita province are mata-mata turtles known for their impressive rich shells. Creme de la creme Pommes frites topped off with a sprinkling of 23,000 edible gold dust are the world's most expensive French fries. They cost $200 in the New York City. A 4-year-old extraordinary environmentalist, Nina Gomez, picks trash with her father from the water along the beaches of Rio de Janeiro. Macau theme park featuring entertainment attractions including the night market, a 388-meter-long zip line and an indoor skydiving facility have opened now. According to the statistics and the census service, the visitor arrival in Macau in the month of June has surged by more than 22 times years earlier in Macau. 4 of the natural sites with forest and diverse wildlife in remote islands of southwestern Japan have been added to the UNESCO World Heritage List. Arabica coffee prices surged on Monday to their highest in more than 6.5 years. Top producer of Arabica coffee, Brazil, faced the prospect of crop-threatening frost for the second week in a row. A zoo in Israel has recently welcomed a baby Sumatran orangutan, one of the world's most endangered great apes. The baby has yet to be named. Thai engineers teach cooking and crops in Sudan, where years of civil war has severely reduced agricultural output. A 19-year-old Belgian Sarah Rutherford is paving the way for girls in STEM by setting the record for the youngest women to fly solo around the world next month. She will undertake her journey on 11th of August. Korea's tidal flats have been officially listed as a UNESCO World Natural Heritage. Tidal flats refer to the areas between land and sea which are created by the ebb that reflects the tide towards the sea and the flow of the tide. UNESCO's World Heritage Committee made the decision in recognition of the tidal flats, biodiversity and ecological values as a home to endangered migratory birds. And that's all for now. We will be back again. Till then, keep watching DD India. Namaskar.